think what's best about this mini campaign is that it's a production, but it's not remotely a well-done production.
Certainly not.
Yeah.
Trade positions.
It's not a well-done production.
Producer!
Hey everyone, welcome back to this new session of Reclamation. We have a very special session for everyone involved. This is our first in-person recording of Reclamation. Could you turn it down like 1 or 2 notches? I just don't want you to be overpowered or competing with the music as we're talking into this. So we mobilized the recording setup. We're in a undisclosed location where we could meet up. And so yeah, we're breaking boundaries in 2 ways. First, in-person recording of Reclamation. First recording of Reclamation with an audience. Again, we won't describe who this individual is, but suffice to say they are angry.
And controversial.
Some would call them an autocrat.
Some would call them the rightful leader of the world.
But that's neither here nor there. What we're here for is Reclamation, the home stretch, barreling straight to the end. A series, dare I say, about to hit its 2-year anniversary, I think in May. Because that's when I moved back to St. Cloud.
Wow.
It actually might be longer than that. When did I move to St. Cloud? Don't answer that. I think I moved back to St. Cloud in 2022. Yeah, May of 2022, actually. So it would be the 3-year anniversary, I think. I feel like that's not real. That's not math. Hang on.
We'll check the upload date.
Yeah, I'm going to check when the first episode of Reclamation was uploaded.
By the way, we are not sponsored by Coca-Cola.
And we're not sponsored by Sprite. But we do like a good sip. Alright, I'm going to my videos real quick so that I can have a timestamp on this. So the first recorded episode of Reclamation happened on August 31st of 2023.
Wow. Okay.
So that's a year and math. 7 months. 7 months. What a journey. But we're here now. In the last episode, it was kind of a low-key kind of episode. We were kind of like getting ready for the end, so to speak. It wasn't like, I don't think we even had combat last episode.
It's hard to remember, but I don't think there was any combat as far as I know. I know there was set up for a journey between you and Ion to go take care of a certain plot point that
we can't discuss because of our audience that's not clued in on the plot point.
Yes, we are joined together by Fire Lord Ozai, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Looking a little more different from his animated depiction and Netflix depiction. He's a little shorter in real person, but he's here, and we're trying to stay in his good graces.
Yeah.
We also have a certain unnamed intern producer.
And they don't know how to shut the hell up on the mic. We're working on that still.
Yeah, so we're going to edit out everything they say.
They've said a lot already. We're just clipping it. We're just clipping.
We, politically, we can't agree with anything they're saying.
Yeah, but, wages. We got them on a deal.
Yeah. We're required by our administration to have one intern of any kind. And this is the one we stumbled across because they happen to own the home that we're doing renovations on.
It's part of our DEI program. We're one of the last employers that has a DEI program.
We're hanging on to it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. We can't deal with the public backlash if we were to get rid of it.
We'll also edit out all the construction sounds in the background and replace it with alluring music from Pocket Bard.
We are in a construction zone. They're removing the roof.
First.
And then they're moving in a crane, I think. But, yes. I was gearing up to join Ion for a particular plot point journey. Some would say a heist of sorts.
If you have been listening to this, which is quite odd, at this point, a full-blown recap will not be required. It'll more than likely just be us listening to snippets and
oh, that's what happened.
Pieces. Oh yeah, that's right. That's what happened. Oh yeah, the journey of Isaiah was crazy.
Yeah.
And it was definitely not a straight path. But I would say that I will recap the mission in which the speaker, Idalia, was sending you guys on. It was behind the scenes in the expanded lore of Jabaxi, the world that me and Patrick have created at this point. There is a large representation of the multi-leveled and layered deities that run, ravage, and bring bounty to the lands of Jabaxi, and a very poor and small representation of those of the 9 hells in the grander D&D planescape that tend to invade almost every type of world that's made homebrew or canon in Faerun, or whoever you want to say, Forgotten Realms. The explanation for why there's a small population of them, or a lack thereof, in Jabaxi is because of certain seals that have been put into place, restricting Set's former allies from bringing him back into the power that he once wielded, we'll say millennia ago. While there are still small pockets, cults and cabals, murderous conclaves of, we'll say, infernals here and there, their presence is minuscule, small, but a certain ostrich who has lost his rider and partner in life has recently found himself masterless. This particular master, along with Idalia and another unnamed individual, were responsible for keeping the hell gates of the infernal planes closed, a burden put upon their life in order to keep the infernal forces from getting through. With Idalia being the last known subject that is spoken for and known about, a reconstitution of this oath is required. In a moment of intimacy and trust, Idalia has given Isaiah the knowledge of how to find this certain place, and has asked Isaiah to bring his, at this point, closest comrade, Ion, the child of Apophis, to take the oath upon herself, given the fact that she is very powerful, and her fortitude is more or less unmatched upon the field of battle. Isaiah and Ion, you find yourselves traveling by boat down the Trebs. The first step of getting to a place that's meant to be guarded by all is to get lost. So the boat is loaded, you are both blindfolded and sent off in a direction that you don't know. And you find yourselves in a myriad of situations. After Ion removes her blindfold, and you remove yours, you find yourselves in a far more verdant part of Jabaxi, far more jungle-like. The occasional lemur or monkey will come swing by off of vines. Ion occasionally will point at a very interesting multicolored one that flies by. None of which fling feces at you. Rather well tempered. And eventually, your boat comes to a standstill. And you find yourselves in a part of the river that is no longer liquid, but fully solid. It is your understanding that once things start to gain strange features and strange oddities, you're heading in the right direction. Skipping ahead a few days, a few sand traps, a few wild animals that tend to challenge Ion for the right of eating a very juicy fruit. You find yourselves...
Would some say a primal fruit?
Some might. Some might.
Wow.
You find yourselves in the middle of a windstorm. You've not seen the sun for many days at this point in time. Marking everything based off of your required long rests. You and Ion find yourselves in the jungle, in the storm, and you find your first form of civilization. A mud-made hut, basically amongst the roots of an enormously large tree. You see what looks like to be a small amount of smoke coming from the hut itself. And Ion looks at you. She pulls out a ridiculously large tree branch, arms herself with it, looks at you, and nods. And starts skulking her way over towards the mud hut.
Are we in Dagobah?
Hopefully not. Because we can't afford that lawsuit.
It's not in the budget. We only got an intern, not a lawyer. How remote? It's pretty remote. We haven't seen civilization or heard civilization for days.
This is the first inkling of civilization that you've come across at this point.
Okay.
Besides the solid river that has, at this point in time, passed you by, you haven't seen anything too peculiar.
Okay. I will approach the hut. I'll let Ion play the role of, like, get the drop on him if it goes that way. And so I will just go to the hut and approach.
Her large branch is cocked and ready for anyone that might attack her best friend in the world.
Does she have like a normal? She have a normal weapon on her?
No.
Are we both weaponless?
You have your weaponry. You have all your gear at this point in time. She's brought a number of snacks that she's promptly eaten within the first hour of you being on the boat. And she typically goes in unarmed, being the only weapon she needs is herself. But she feels a need to have some type of range in this uncertain place.
I'll grab hold or touch like one of the roots of the tree, because you said it's a big tree, right?
It's very big, yes.
I'll probably grab one of the roots, and for the sake of safekeeping and just getting my bearings before I go further, I'll use one of my charges of divine sense.
You do so, and you feel infernal influence immediately, deep within the ground. Flaring through at a small pulse.
Okay. Okay. Do I sense anything from within the hut? Or nothing? Or within the tree?
I would say, with your expanded sight of 8 layers, compounded with your divine sense, you do feel a small presence inside. It feels mixed. You feel the influence of the infernal essence that's pouring through and fusing with the lands of Jabaxi, mixing with this individual, but not completely.
Okay, with that knowledge, I would still approach the hut, and as I approach it, do I hear noises coming from the inside? Like, does it seem oddly quaint and quiet, or is there like a hustle and bustle in there?
There's a small crackling of fire and what sounds like one individual shuffling about, doing possibly just daily tasks. A small green-shaped individual.
Named Yiddle.
Yeah. This is my MC character, Yiddle. Unfortunately, with the inclusion of this being our first in-person, there's also physical bits that we're doing behind the scenes. I'm threatening individuals and, you know.
The producer.
Yeah.
The producer who first day on the clock has already been dozing. Hasn't even gotten to hour 2 of the session. We're rolling. I'm good. Jeez, Ozai, get your shit together. Anyways.
Oh man.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm just pulling up my. In case you asked me to make a check, I'm pulling up my character on my phone. Okay. I will knock on the door.
The individual passes towards the door, abruptly pulls it open about an inch, gets stuck, a second inch, gets stuck again, and eventually opens up to see you. On your end, you see what looks to be a dark-complected, almost half-tiefling of sorts. This man is bald on one side, where you see a horn jutting out of the top of his head. Musculature and skeletal system shifting on one side. Not completely, but around the neck, it seems to be going down and enveloping the rest of the body.
Mm-hmm.
And through the rags this individual has on, you're not able to see much more, but this man has, I would say, a certain glow to the remainder of what looks to be a human form. Looks at you, one eye widens, the infernal one looking at you and tearing up. He looks at you and he's shocked. Ion, on top of the house, with her club, ready to branch this guy in the face, looks at you.
And I'll I'll do this quiet, no. But I'm gonna look at this guy. Can I make a history check to see if I know him? Or am familiar with him?
You can go ahead.
Right, skills. History is actually pretty good. An 8.
I would say with an 8, that's not too bad. You think this guy was a Medjai from a long time ago. Not necessarily in your father's squad, but you feel like you might have seen him during your own education. You would have seen dozens and dozens of Medjai back then, obviously going in and out of the headquarters, the barracks, so on and so forth. And this guy, his name doesn't ring a bell, but you're pretty sure you remember this guy because he's not very tall in particular, and they typically recruit, individuals that can swing a sword or a khopesh pretty hard. This guy, he looks like he was required for another task.
I will say, pardon me. My name is, Adam or Isaiah, whichever makes you feel comfortable. And I come here with my companion, Ion. And we were sent this way to meet you.
I don't know. How did you even find me?
There was some blindfolding, and
Oh,
there were some monkeys, and there was some fruit. But eventually, I think the boat took its course here. We didn't have a captain per se, right?
no, it was just you two.
Yeah. What did we say? Was the boat like on autopilot, auto steer?
Yeah,
Okay.
more or less. It was flowing until it went, and then it stopped. And he looks at you, and he looks up at Ion with her branch, staring at him between her legs, ready to bonk this guy.
Yeah.
And he says, You two should not be here. It is... Is she going to kill me?
She didn't know if you were gonna kill me on sight, so she's nervous because that's happened a couple of times.
No, you two must leave. This is a dangerous place. It will take its toll upon you, and you must go. And he starts finding something. He finds some furs to cover himself with on his one side as best he can, but you will be tainted if you stay here any longer. Do not eat any of the food. Do not... How did you find me? Why are you here?
Idalia had sent me here, and considering what's going on back in Jabaxi and Pharos, I'm here to solve a problem. And the boat took me here. We didn't steer it, we didn't touch it.
He's going to roll an insight check. It's an 18 on the die.
I'm not lying. So I'm providing the very baseline amount of information because I don't know how much he does know or doesn't know, but I'm just getting straight to the point so that he doesn't have to mince anything.
I'll say, yeah, You spend some time sharing information that only Idalia would have known about the crest and the oath, everything of the sort, and he eventually does subside and say that as long as you're a Medjai, given your position, you should be okay here. But he is hesitant on Ion's presence. You need to keep her close amongst your aura to keep her from being subjugated by the hells.
I understand. I have faith in Ion's discipline and self-control. She's actually kind of a softie. But when you piss her off, she turns into a snake, and that part is not that awesome. Well, I mean, it's awesome for me, but it's not awesome for people that pissed her off. But Ion is not like what you would probably call her kin. So as long as I'm okay, she's okay.
Time is spent explaining why Idalia told you to come here, conveying this information. You eventually find out the man's name is Ramza. He was a relatively new Medjai back when you were starting out, and his own ordeals and life's mission ended with him abruptly being forced into a form of retirement. He was given a choice to give up being a Medjai permanently, or he can come here and take care of the Hellgate. He conveys that there's a small society here, individuals that have tried to make a life that can't find something anywhere else, it does come with complications. Eventually, no matter what, depending on how many of the Oath Keepers are gone, the infernal influence almost always has an effect on an individual on a different level. The reason why these people are here, you will end up deducing, is the fact that depending on how much influence is getting out, these people are essentially the buffer, the scouts for it.
Mm-hmm.
He'll take you around deeper and deeper into the jungles, and you will see more individuals, some who are more touched, some who are barely even grazed by the influence. They look perfectly fine. They're making a living for themselves as best they can here. It's very humble farming. There are almost...
And it's not the hell that like leads to Anubis in the Lake of Fire.
No, this is a form of the Nine Hells that is foreign to Jabbaxi altogether. You are also familiar with the land that Jabbaxi was placed upon. Now, you know it's tied to your leaf shield in particular, and you've seen portraits of this land as it once were before, and you know that these hags that have found themselves influencing Jabbaxi have also hailed from this land, hailing their dark idol, the Morrigan.
Mm-hmm.
So, at this point, he's hesitant to do so, but he points you in the direction of the Hellgate.
I would thank him. I would say, Ramza, thank you for your service. This is not a duty to be taken lightly, and you doing this in such isolation, so selflessly, is a lot of people are indebted to you, and they may never know it. But I just want you to know that I recognize it and I see it. So, thank you, and we will proceed.
You both take your time together. If there's anything you need that I can provide, all you need to do is ask. Looks at Ion with her branch. You as well. She's looking at him slightly aggressively, but just keeps close to you, essentially.
Yeah.
Always ready, just in case.
The branch had to like get shoved through the doorway because it has like a wide berth. It's just like awkward.
Yeah, and she's not willing to bend it at an angle that she doesn't want it at.
No.
It's always got to be ready to get swung.
Yeah. It's gonna be the most awkward D4 weapon ever.
Yep.
So I don't assume the Hellgate is like in his basement, so to speak.
No. You walk about a mile or two. The trees start to become a little more sparse, and the level of infernal magic is very apparent now. The sands themselves are starting to turn black, and a small essence of smoke begins to rise from patches here and there. Some marks of fire, we'll say invisible footprints that tend to almost break the barriers in between Jabbaxi and, you assume, hell. You eventually come across what looks to be this said Hellgate. You see what looks to be a absolute perfect alabaster gate depicting what looks to be the gods of Jabbaxi, Idalia, a number of other famed Medjay, and Horus in particular, striking out at set and all the infernal influence and generals and lords that came with him to help him usurp the throne from Osiris all the years ago. This gate, alabaster white, has one particular disc that's completely cracked, leaking an ichor of lava from it. The middle one, cracked but still intact. One to the right, you can tell is for Adalia. Still there, not cracked, slowly leaking a red ichor.
And these discs, they're tied to the individuals themselves, is that correct?
That is correct.
Do I get the impression that Adalia, maybe I'll make an insight check on this, but do I get the impression that Adalia is using or like siphoning her own life force to preserve the disc itself?
You may roll an insight check or an arcana check.
Ooh, Arcana is only a +0, so maybe not. A 23.
Okay. With a sight of 8 layers, you do any type of introspection and insight in the real game as best you can. Examining the one bond that's still alive, barely alive at this point in time, cracked beyond belief, and examining Adalia's, you see what looks to be a link of sorts. The link goes both ways. The influence is there, and it's essentially buffered and somewhat dissipated by the seal itself. The one that's completely broken, spilling forth whatsoever, that's the one that's infecting the land right as where you are at this point in time. How close do you get to the gate?
Where am I right now?
I would say you're
insight
about...
check.
I would give you about 90 yards, because it's rather large at this point in time. I should mention that the gate itself is about, I would say, maybe 50 feet tall and about, we'll say, 40 feet wide.
Okay, and it's just in the middle of a clearing.
It's in the middle of a clearing, almost in a downward divot.
Yeah.
Where you can see that the ground is not cracked, but on the cusp of being cracked.
And this black substance that's going on the ground, could I attribute the hallowed ground to be caused by this?
Yes.
Okay.
The strong enchantments...
So this has been broken for a while.
It feels this way at this point in time. It's a constant battle between the holy lands of Jabaxi and the infernal essence that is trying to escape as we speak.
So, recap. Disc on the right, broken. Disc on the left, Adalia's disc, being preserved only by her life force. And then the middle one is the only functioning one? Like, fully, like, we'll say, okay.
The first one, completely destroyed. The second one is maintaining, albeit barely. It's
putting the team on its back.
It's putting the team on its back. Idalia's in prime form at this point in time.
In prime form, but only in prime form due to her life force.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll say so, yeah.
Can I make an Arcana check on these discs to see if I can get an understanding of how close do the discs have to be to the gate in order to preserve the gate?
Yes. Make your roll.
A 16.
16. The discs themselves, looking back towards your conversation with Adalia, she had an article of some type of accessory on her inscribing the disc itself, marking her as the Oathkeeper that has partaken in making this gate. You know Adalia is long-lived to a degree, about 200 years or so. The other two, you're not positive, and if you had a chance to insight any of them or see if any of them had any type of memorabilia of keeping a form of the disc on themselves, you would be better to know. You didn't notice anything from her own totem that she had, but you feel like the disc itself, at the very least, if you were to make a replacement, it has to be made here.
Okay. I would encroach on the 3 discs. If I was 90 yards, I would push it to 45 yards.
45 yards? Okay.
Yep. And like you said, it's a clearing, it's a little bit of a divot. There's no one here. There's just the black smoke coming up and scorch marks and black sand.
How wide is your aura at this point in time?
30 feet.
30 feet?
I think, let me just double check if that has expanded at higher levels, but as far as I understand, it should still be 30 feet. Let's go to features and traits. Or a protection, or a courage, all of those still say 30 feet.
All 30 feet.
Mm-hmm.
The closer and closer you get, the stronger you feel the resistance that's trying to keep you back. And once you get within a certain distance, once your aura hits the 30 foot, or no, you're going in 45 yards. Okay. The closer and closer you get, the harder it is to move forward, but you start to see a difference in the sands.
Mm-hmm.
The moment you get close enough to, I would say, a deeper influence, you start to see the sands dissipate, and there starts to be more verdant growth.
Can I make an Arcana check on the disc that is spilling out the black substance, for whether the disc is cursed in any way, or, and if I can't get any insight on that, to understand what is the black substance itself.
Roll an Arcana check.
If Ion's here, could I leverage her to help? Considering, I don't know what she would know about old magics. I feel like she may know something. I don't know if she's infernal in nature, though.
She can give you advantage.
$17 is the highest.
Total? 17?
Yeah.
Okay. The closer you get, the more things begin to change. The essence from that disc is beginning to subside the closer and closer you get. Originally, you can't see the individual depicted or the emblemization that's being depicted on the disc itself. It's cracked, it's flowing with essence. The closer you're getting to it, the more and more the essence starts to go away. The crack remains. You immediately understand that it is blood. It's all demon blood. Or devil blood.
It's a concoction.
And you start to realize that this alabaster gate itself might be made out of an essence that's more than just stone as well.
But the cracked disc that's spilling out the demon blood, it's not cursed in any way.
Doesn't feel cursed.
Okay. And I can't recognize a figure on the one pouring out the blood.
Not at this range, I'd say.
Then in that case, I would... Yeah. I will approach closer to the broken disc itself.
How close do you want to get?
Let's start with 30 feet, 10 yards. That's when my aura actually starts to kick in. If that thing were to do a thing.
I would like you to roll me a charisma-based athletics check.
How cute do you move to the side? Let's see here. 19 total.
19 total. Oh. With a 19, that's very good. You get within 30 feet. The closer and closer you get, the more intense your power and aura becomes at this point. The influence of the gate is almost completely subsided by the time you get within 30 feet. All the blood that was originally seeping out, sucking itself back into the gate, up the disc, and you see the individual that the disc was made for. You see what looks to be a sad, frail woman holding a spear in hand, looking morose beyond belief, and very real. Not like the other ones. The other ones look almost like a caricature. But this person, as the blood was sucked back in, looks almost like lifelike and picturesque. And then she blinks at you. And you look back towards Ion for a second, point up at it, and the woman's right in front of you. She looks at you. She has reddish skin, very, very pale hair. Some kind of elf or genasi, you can't really tell. She's very lean, very pronounced cheekbones, and looks at you right in the eyes, back and forth. It should be you. You should be the one.
Does she seem infernal in nature with the red skin, or...
You get the idea that that could be the case. She looks at you and she speaks in perfect Jabex. You're the one to take up the oath. She sent you, didn't she?
Adalia did send me.
Then it's time for me to go.
How were you and Idalia elected into this position of the Hellgates?
I chose this position. We made this. I made this gate.
You made the gate and the discs?
I made this gate from the fallen pit fiends that assailed us, that ravaged my village, and both of my friends. She, minor illusions, a variable caricature of Idalia, the ostrich and the gnome that rides upon him that you hadn't met, but you met the ostrich. You see them crafting their discs out of the same alabaster that you see right up here. I spent a lot of time thinking about who should do this, and I couldn't agree with anyone else but myself. It had to be me. And I told Idalia she can't trust anyone besides herself. And then we got one volunteer, pointing at the old gnome. But now they're almost out. And they have me now. But you can save the rest. It should be a Medjai. It's always supposed to be.
Tell me what I must do.
You must remove my disc. You must inscribe your name. Pour your essence into it. Of your own free will.
Just make an insight just check, see if there's like any abstaining of information or anything else of that sort.
Roll an insight check.
That's 23.
23? She is holding back information. She's doing a very poor job of hiding it too, that it's not that simple.
Yeah.
You feel like there's repercussions for doing such a thing as this.
I look at her and I say, you said that, I guess I'll clarify, what is the title that you hold? Is it Guardian of this Hellgate? Protector, Warder of this disc? What is it that you are doing?
We are responsible. We are oath keepers. We are the sacrifice that is necessary to help our people. You are a Medjai. You understand what it takes. And I have rejected those who have come before you in these troubling times. You are not the first in this day and age. Idalia should have sent you sooner. Some of them have gotten out. I don't know why she's spending so much time worrying about Set as he is, when he could be so much worse if she does not find a proper Oathkeeper. Well, here you are. You're ready to... And she looks at Ion. Do this. Who is this with you?
This is my companion, Ion. However, her title is Guardian of the Old Heart, and her kinship or namesake is daughter to Apophis.
She sends two. What is her purpose here?
To wield that branch against my enemies.
Insight check.
I choose to fail. Even if this was a lie, this would be a very hard lie to pull off.
You not the guardian of the old heart. The old heart of what? What heart? What are you... No, you're trying... You're one of his agents, aren't you? You're one of Set's, aren't you? You're back again, as usual, to trick me.
I wish... Unfortunately, it's not what you say. My oath and my agency is complicated based on my current form, but to make to illustrate my agency, I will demonstrate to you, and I'll kind of like reach out into space, and I'll just grab with my two fingers, forefinger and thumb, and I'll kind of like illustrate slash weave a hieroglyphic, so to speak, of Neath, and I will make that like image out of the weave, and as soon as the hieroglyphic is done, I'll kind of like grab it and solidify it and hand it to her as if it's like a physical manifestation of the weave.
She'll look at it in your hand. I want you to roll me a persuasion check.
And just to clarify, the gentleman's name was Ramses.
Ramza.
While I'm handing this to her, I say, pardon me, I'm not fully following here, but if you say the job is to be performed by a magi, then how come the magi in your very backyard is underutilized? He just sits in the house. 25.
She gently takes this gift in her hand. You feel a exchange of understanding between the two of you. I know not of any magi powerful enough to resist like you. I know not of a Ramza. I know not of any current affair in Jabaxi's dealings with this world. All I know is those I fight. Those who are after whatever little virtues I have left. They eat away at me. And it seems that once again, Idalia has sent another fool head first into a mess that he could hardly understand.
That's been, I think that's exactly why she's sent me, is I've been unfortunately very headstrong in diving into messes I don't fully understand. And it looks like I'm your only option. So if you can tell me what comes with being an Oathkeeper of these discs and agents to this Hellgate, maybe I can better help you.
You will be damning yourself. Your death will not end with you entering the Duat. This is a harsh, harsh fate. You see Ion lowering her branch at this point in time. Considering her options in this moment in time, knowing that she was the one that Idalia wanted to take this course of action. You speak for the Great Weaver herself. And And yet her influence has not touched Jubaxi in any modicum that I know of.
Well, you just said you're not really familiar with Jabaxi's dealings, so I think that's appropriate.
Ion kind of just kind of shits on her a little bit. No.
Yeah. I look so stupid now with this branch, don't I?
Ion gets a little close to you and she says,
Isaiah, I think this is not that big of a deal. I don't think anyone in hell could even handle me. I think we just need to get the hell out of here. I will write my name upon the disc and we'll go home.
I'll whisper to Ion, I'm like, I think that sounds good on paper, but I don't think that's how that works.
the lean woman's just, the ramifications of the infernal influence upon our children. You see Ion slowly walking towards the gate, getting ready to climb it with a big crayon.
So Adalia wrote her name on the disc, and she will never be able to allow to enter the duat. Is that correct in my understanding?
Idalia has long forsaken herself for the sake of Jubaxi. I would say in her case, the hells are the second worst thing she'd have to deal with.
How much time do you have? What risk is this Hellgate to open?
How
Imminently.
far has the influence spread before you made it to this gate?
Would I say I know that answer, considering I was kind of blindfolded on the way here?
Yeah, you know that it was only felt at what was essentially the first instance of the territory. You felt it on the tree branch.
Yeah.
And it was slowly trickling, but...
Okay. What's considered... Is that considered, like, abnormal? Like, that's way far beyond where it should be?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But it's not too far gone.
I don't really want to sign myself up for a thing that I'm not fully aware of. Which is part of my hesitancy, because there are other things that I may potentially still need to do, but what happens to us when we die?
My name was taken from me. Everything that I once was has been taken by those I try to hold back. If I were to go into the Duat at this point in time, I would be judged harshly. The only fate awaiting me is Ahmet's jaws. Although, in the life of a soldier, who could say we deserve any other fate? I've done things that have forsaken me long before me and Adalia went to war. Long before we became allies. Lovers. Who can say? She sinisterly smiles at you a little bit, and you see a little bit of influence.
Okay. If this is to hold off the gates of hell and protect Jubaxi, and save a lot of lives in the long run, and maybe even make it easier for the gods. And I think it's only appropriate that one assumes the mantle so that it doesn't get worse than it is. And I'll tell Ion to take a couple of steps back, and I will approach the woman, and I will ask for her spear and say, allow me to carve my name into the disc.
I want you to roll me an insight check on Ion.
At 28.
28. When she sees your intention to write your name in the disc, she immediately is going to combat you for this. She's going for the spear.
With my insight, would I have gotten, we'll say, an ability to react before she could do so?
I would say it's going to be even Steven in this situation, because it was her attempt to try to rush her and get the spear herself. But I'm going to roll something. Isaiah, in the corner of your eye, you see lightning strike and a number of outlines. And suddenly, as soon as you're about to go for the spear, your forearm is pierced by an arrow. You take... Oh, hold on. You take 4 points of damage as you see a number of archers up on the hill, and the woman with her spear immediately looks at them and screams, "Intruders!"
Do I recognize the figures, or are they too far away?
Too far away at this moment in time.
How far away is the woman from me?
Within like 5 feet.
Okay. And the disc is where?
40 feet up. 35 feet up, we'll say. Would like you to roll me initiative.
I'd like to roll initiative, if that's allowable.
Initiative!
Spells. What spells do I have? That's so ass. 4. Roll the dice. Get the initiative order. I'm at the bottom. I got a 4. I'm sad.
Right. Oh, that's great. Big one's Ion. $18, that's pretty good for initiative.
Tell me that they all rolled 3 2s and 1s.
Unfortunately, no.
Oh.
Ion also rolled very high, though, as well, which is both good and bad at the same time. At this point in time, you only see 2 individuals. Your sight of 8 layers gives you the idea that there's actually more of them. You see them for a split second. They're all circling around you guys at this point in time. The lean woman is becoming more and more ethereal and more fiendish as they get closer and closer, Ion at this point in time is hesitating. She doesn't know exactly what to do. She wants to take the spear and she wants to climb the disc, but she doesn't want to leave you in danger at this point in time.
I will bark at Ion and say, protect me from the soldiers around. And I'd like to think at this point I'd have like either a hidden hand gesture or like a code that would indicate to Ion, like, maybe not the humanoid form right now.
Oh, I see.
And so...
Oh, no.
Maybe I'll make a little symbol with the weave. Yeah, maybe I'll have a little hidden symbol with the weave. That'll basically be a floating hieroglyphic of a long dog of sorts.
That's so weird.
Uh,
I know you probably haven't seen it, but you ever heard of the never-ending story before?
I've heard of the never-ending story, but I heard it ends.
Yeah, it does. There's a particular dragon named Falcor, who is everything I think of when I think of Long Dog. Because he is a long dog.
So I would say that to Ion, and then I would look towards the woman in front of me and I would say, quick, pass me the spear. And I'm saying this because I don't have initiative, so technically nothing's going on for me, so I'm at my wit's end.
Ion, getting your message, says to you, I'm the hero of this story, and rushes for the spear. This will represent the lean woman.
Do we have a name for the lean woman except describing her physique, especially in March?
We'll call her Oathkeeper. She doesn't have a name anymore, but she'll be Oathkeeper. These two will be the known assailants.
Can we...
This is the top of the hill.
I'm going into the treasury of dice. I'm looking for a... I'm using the intern's dice.
Oh. Wait, you gotta drill that thing open. I gotta take the roof off, I'm sorry. Yep.
I'm looking for a different color dice for my character that just feels more appropriate.
This is the one thing that I knew I forgot about once I got to Warba. I was like, oh, I left the minis. Oh my god.
I was thinking about printing a new mini, and I just, out of all the time that I had, which was maybe a lot, I just forgot. Ray, the intern, tried to play footsie with me.
It's part of the intern training.
Wait.
They're supposed to.
What's the training called?
This is Ion.
Can this be me? This is the pretty one. I think this is the blacklight one.
Oh, this might be the blacklight one, yeah. That's pretty cool.
This one just falls, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she doesn't understand.
Still Ion. Represents it perfectly. Or this does. I love the big arms and little legs. Alright.
Alright, guys, we're going to narrate this combat. We're going to try to narrate this combat as best as possible because this is the first in-person combat we've done. So, this shall be fun. Let me adjust the mic so then it can be angled towards us over here. Alright. Mobilizing. Over here. Over Schmear. Alright. Ion went first.
Ion goes first. She tries to yank the spear out of the hand of the Oathkeeper. She has a very high strength score, obviously. But the Oathkeeper is kind of different in the sense that strength doesn't always work. Oh, well. This will be for the Oathkeeper. She hangs onto the spear. For a second, Ion seems to pull it from her immediately and suddenly goes incorporeal and accidentally punches herself in the face.
She forgot she has a sliver in her hand from holding the branch.
Yes, that's exactly it.
Does the Oathkeeper look like she wants to hand the spear to me?
Yes, she does.
Okay.
She absolutely does.
Then, whose turn is it next? Oathkeepers, or?
It's going to be this individual's turn. Oathkeeper will go at the end of the round. So, this particular shrouded archer is going to get a little closer.
And with my sight of 8 layers, I don't recognize these figures at all.
Not at this moment in time. They're shrouded in some type of ethereal magic that seems to be keeping them from being stricken and influenced by the gate's power. But if you had to guess, you're looking at them, you see what looks to be fringes and layers of Set's influence. So you have a good idea.
Okay. I don't know what's real around here. There's a lot of, like, illusory magic floating around, playing tricks on the mind. Okay.
Indeed.
Okay, so it's their turns now?
You see this particular archer
Pulling up my AC.
looks at you and looks at the ground and looses 3 shots into the sands down below.
Okay.
Does a 25 hit?
That does hit.
Okay. One of the arrows shoots into the ground and immediately shoots up into your armpit.
Ouch. Okay.
It's going to hit you for 8 damage. The other 2 shots shooting through the ground, that's not going to hit. Well, it's going to hit you. You're going to catch it for a split second and throw it on the ground and snap it in 2. The third shot does a 22 hit.
Is it a +7? +8? Because I thought you rolled an 18 and then you said 25.
It was 25,
so
that's
that
right.
was a +7. If it's a +8 for this guy, a 22 does hit.
It's supposed to be a +7, I think, yeah.
If it's a 21, it's a miss.
Okay. Is that you?
This is Scott.
He's not here.
He is in spirit.
Okay. So the third one bounces off your breastplate. Does not cause any meaningful damage. It is going... Would you roll
I didn't roll anything.
for initiative?
Oh, yeah, 4 total.
Well, you're going last.
Yeah.
Well, second last. the other one. He's going to immediately 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Looks over towards you, Isaiah. You get a little bit closer to this guy. You can see what looks to be an individual wearing some type of helmet that's disguising their image. Somewhat familiar with that, being in the Illusory Desert, dealing with those cultists of Anhur that were wearing a mask that turned their heads into fire. Not quite the same, but similar in the same sense that they're trying to disguise themselves. Same kind of magic. This person puts their hands together, whispers a prayer, aims a finger at you. Give me a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. What's my save? Okay. A 20.
20. For a split second, you're blind, but you're not. Sight of 8 layers kicks in harder than it ever has. That's going to be... Oh, no, actually. No, there's one more. Along the arrow's path, you hear something underground rumbling for a split second, and I need you to roll me an opposing grapple check. So athletics or acrobatics, your choice. Oh. You have to beat a 20.
Let's see here.
I think you can.
I gotta go to my skills. I forgot what it was.
I think Atom is built a little different. Oh.
That's a 4. That's for 4 for a 12.
4 for a 12. You are pulled waist deep into the sand as 2 hands jut out and pull you down.
Not awesome.
You can take your action to dig yourself out, or use all of your movement to do so.
It's my turn now?
It is now your turn.
In the sand, I'll reach out to the Oath Keeper and I'll say, give me the spear.
You're handed the spear.
Just for as a side note, is it like just a normal ass spear, or is this like a...
For the sake of weaponry, it'll be considered a +3 weapon, but it's seemingly normal. You're not attuned to it. You don't get any benefit from it other than the effect of it's pointy and sharp.
And how far up is the disc from me?
35 feet. This is the disc in question.
So 35 feet from me in this direction, and that's it?
Yeah, you'd have to get here and then go 35 feet up straight.
Okay. I'll take my movement to get out.
Okay.
And I will I'll do a lot of things. Let's see here. I'm going to take... I'm going to bonus action Shield of Faith as I spin the spear and kind of like create like a web of weave around me. Make a little bubble of sorts.
Okay.
And then I will then take the dodge action and end my turn.
Okay. That is going to finish the round and go to the Oath Keeper's... No, let's say this is the Oath Keeper. This is going to be the... Who the fuck is this?
That's the Oath Keeper. I think this is Iron. Or is this Iron?
Damn.
Damn.
Actually, this will be the individual underneath. The Oath Keeper's turn is happening. The field is enclosed in flames at this point in time.
Are there now layer actions now?
There are layer actions now at
shit.
this point in time.
Okay.
That's going to bring it back to the top of the round. Ion is up. She looks at you. I'll only ask you this once. Give me your spear. Point it at me. Arrows flying by.
Yeah. I gotta think faster.
Someone's
Sorry.
trying to suck you underneath.
What?
You two are having.
Wait.
You two are having a moment in time.
Time stood still. I'll look at
What's happening to
Ion.
you? What's happening to you?
I'll look at Ion.
Nothing.
I'll call it a free action because I'm not really doing anything. I'll flip the spear like upside down and point the tip of the spear into like the sand.
Okay.
And I'll look at her, and even though I'm taking the dodge action, I have Shield of Faith. I like look at her with like relaxed shoulders, almost like putting down my guard. And I look at her and I say, "You are far more deserving of a better end than you give yourself credit for." And I'll look towards the fucking ops that are trying to shoot me with arrows, as I then turn away from her, and then be poised for when they try to attack me.
Okay.
Almost like I'm saying, even though I know Ion's trying to get the spear from me, not even like looking at her as a threat.
Okay. Ion is still going to wrestle the spear from your possession. You know what it is. Contested athletics.
Let's do it.
Oh my god.
That's a 17 for me.
Well, that's 13 for me. So she tries to wrestle the spear from you.
Mm-hmm.
You constantly resist at this point in time. And she's like, "Why are you so difficult? Get it over!"
No touchy. No touch.
I'm wasting my turn!
Think of the action economy! I can't protect you if you're being stubborn!
And she goes to give you more cover, essentially. Oh, this is awkward. Oh my. Ignore the angle. Don't look at me!
Give me that spear.
Oh, God.
Wait.
What kind of campaign is this again? Oh my god.
Reclamation.
The archer on the hill, little confused at my not being taken seriously right now.
Am I under partial coverage of this?
Yes, you are, but at the same time, he shoots underground, so I'm still gonna give it to you anyways.
Fair
but
enough. Fair enough.
yeah,
Give it.
he's gonna shoot some more shots. +7, so that's a 22 to hit.
Doesn't hit.
You have Shield of Faith now, right?
Yep.
So that raises it by 3.
2, I think. Only.
2.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, +2.
Jeez. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it hard for you, buddy.
Yeah.
Pause.
I'm having a good time. Yeah. So all 3 of his shots are going to miss. He's going to 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
Oh, and I took the dodge action.
Oh, you did take the dodge
Yeah,
action.
so those are all at disadvantage.
Yeah, those didn't land.
Do you want to roll with disadvantage to see if you accidentally shot Ion?
No.
All right.
No, I don't. But there is one benefit to this guy. 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
You wouldn't cast Fireball on me.
That's exactly right.
You wouldn't
So-
do that to a friend.
This one individual sees you all marked up together. Undoes the hood. You see jackal pointy ears.
Bitch.
Deep inside of his chest, you see this individual belch up a flame that lays in his hand, and he looks at you and winks. And he chucks this thing. Do you have a counterspell?
No, I don't. I don't have a counter spell because it's 3rd level, right? Technically.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not there. It's not there. All my cool things like that are actions. They're not reactions. So I'm taking this.
It happens.
But I have Shield of Faith, so it helps.
You got a lot of faith. That's good.
I believe this fire will not hurt.
Oh boy. All right. So.
So what's the save DC?
It's gonna be Dex. Just have to see how many D6s I have to roll.
But what am I rolling to try to beat?
Trying to make sure that it is Dex. It is Dex. You need to roll an 17.
Okay. It's gonna be hard for me as one of my lower saving throws.
Good.
I fail.
Okay. I'm gonna roll for Ion, and I don't really have to roll for her, but okay, that's 6. So, we got 6. We'll do this. 5, 10, 20. We got 23 points of damage, fire damage.
Mm-hmm.
Ion. She fails. Both of you take 23 points of fire damage. Oh wait, I need to roll 2 more. This is 8. 30? You take 30 points of fire damage each. I'll mark my HPs. I should have done this earlier. Ion. HP. So, the Oathkeeper is more or less unharmed from the fireball itself.
Mm-hmm.
Both of you, okay.
Mm-hmm.
You're fine for the most part. That is going to go to the 3rd agent who's underground. Yeah. Roll me a contested strength check.
17.
Okay.
Oh wait, it's not athletics. It's just a contested strength.
No, it's athletics. Yeah.
Okay. So it's 17.
You do not get sucked down any further this time around, but you definitely feel this guy underneath still trying to drag you deeper and deeper.
Trying to give me that jork.
Yep. It comes to your turn.
Then I'm not mincing words. I still have my Shield of Faith, so that's fine. I don't have the dodge action anymore, so
Is Shield of Faith concentration?
it's concentration.
And you
Oh,
rolled?
did I drop? Yeah, that's a good point. And it's just a flat con roll.
It's Constitution, yep.
God. That passes for
Okay.
fireball.
Okay.
None of the arrows hit me, right?
Nope, none of the arrows hit you.
So then I'm just making sure I have my movement right. I don't know what my movement is because I'm uneducated. I think it's just 30.
It's probably just 30, but we'll
I
see.
I don't know how to use the mobile app. Oh, there's a section called speed.
That'll do it.
This character's speed is... Look at that. That's not a lie. Look at that. I'll play with it.
I'll be right back.
Do it.
You think about your turn.
Yep. Let me see here.
Really specialize in your mind.
1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm thinking of... That's only 4 blocks. 4 blocks, 20 feet, which is not great, but I think that gives me pretty close to where I need to be. Pretty close to where I need to be. Tuesday, innit? The intern is laughing at me, and it's inappropriate. All right. Let's see here. Ooh. I'm rolling the big dice for practice. Let's see here. Oops. Yeah, I think I can pull this off. I think I'm pretty close to pulling this off. Raymond's taking Dookie or something. Raymond. Are you ready for this?
I am.
All right.
Hit me with it.
I'm gunning it. I can't exist in the same space as another character, right?
No.
Yep. So I'll just do 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
Am I right below the disc, or technically not?
You'd have to climb. You have to climb the wall itself. It being a very tall, large mural, there are many places to grip. You have the spear on your person.
And the disc is 35 feet up?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. I will take... I think I'm going to take the dash action.
Okay.
And give myself an additional 20 feet to begin climbing the wall. And I'm going to just try to hurl myself up there through just like raw strength. I'm not trying to be crafty about it. I'm trying to grab good firm footholds and kind of just lurch myself up, just kind of launch myself. So however high that gets me, should I make an athletics check, or how do you feel?
Make me an athletics check to see how far you can leap. Hulk jump.
Okay, Hulk jump. That's a 27.
27? Okay, you go up immediately about 15 feet, I'll say.
Okay.
You leap up, you stab the spear into the wall, and you catch your footing, pulling the spear loose.
I think I'll keep the spear actually lurched into the wall for stability.
Okay.
And I'll end my turn there.
Okay.
You said I'm 15 feet in the air?
You're 15 feet in the air. The influence of the Oathkeeper is beginning to spill out, with your presence leaving the area itself. She begins to exude infernal essence. The ground starts to soak.
I'm still 30 feet. It's kind of far. And I'm also 15 feet in the air. So they're like at the edge. This person's at the edge of my bubble.
Yeah. The essence starts to fill up underneath Ion, where there's another individual who was grabbing you and trying to suck you underneath the sands.
Whoa.
Yep.
Happy finale.
Happy ending.
Wait. Anyways.
And you see the sands shifting and a dark influence emitting itself from down below.
Does it? Oh, it did, but it doesn't do anything as of right now. It's
far-
just starting to happen.
Not that you can see.
Okay.
The individual underneath is being ravaged by the infernals.
Oh.
So,
Well,
that being said, yeah, I mean, it's not your problem.
They fucked around and found out.
Yeah, it's not your problem.
I can't redeem everyone.
That being said, the influence is also spreading over towards there and over towards here as well, towards these other individuals. So, that leads us back here at this point in time. Fully understanding that you have been a huge pain in the ass, at this point, they're going to have to do something different. So, 30. So, how far away are you? 25, 30, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70. It's too far. He's going to have to take the dash action. Get a good angle, a flank right on you. He's very close to the disc at this point in time. So that's going to be his turn. This motherfucker sees you up there. No.
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 Yeah.
He's going to get 5, 10, 15, 20. He's going to hit you with a Ray of Frost.
Is that a deck save?
It's just a hit.
Okay.
It's a cantrip.
Wow. That's banished for now. Where does it go?
So, the Ray of Frost misfires.
I have a personal request.
Huh.
I would like you to roll a dice of your choosing to see if he accidentally hits a disc. If you roll a nat 1 again, it hits a disc.
Oh, it was close.
There's the one right there.
Piss off the Infernals. What the fuck? Okay.
The individuals, the mage, I should say, leaving his bow at the top of the hill, launches a Ray of Frost, gets disrupted by the infernal influence that is influxing rapidly from the Oathkeeper. That is going to go
To the underground.
third agent, yes, at this point in time. So, from underneath, an individual is going to burst forth, disrupting Ion, and they're going to be rather large and hulking, I'm going to say. So, we'll do this. This is very clearly an individual who did not originally look like this, but they have suddenly taken on what looks to be almost the guise of a purple worm. But
Not
a
Barry.
heavily influenced
Not Barry.
infernal one. Not Barry.
God bless.
So, this individual, who was once a humanoid, has become infected and is going to attack at random. So, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got 5 individuals. I'll ignore the 1 or a 6. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right.
1, 2,
I'm 4.
4. Gee. Great. Great.
Sees the guy on the wall.
Fuck you in particular!
Why are you taller than me? I was supposed to grab you.
So this purple worm individual is going to immediately go over here and crash into the wall at full force, trying to knock you down. Give me a dex saving throw.
What's my
It's
DC?
gonna open its gullet. All of it. That's what your DC is.
Do I
I'm
get
gonna give you
advantage
16.
or a bonus because I put the spear in the wall to
Sure, you can have advantage because you did keep it in there specifically. Beat a 16.
16. Plus 4. Have to roll 12. It's not hard. It's not hard.
Not hard. You got advantage.
19.
That's not bad. It was scary for a moment. Yep. Knocks free a whole bunch of the alabaster. Underneath, you're starting to realize that there's a lot more faces built into this wall than you thought before, and it's quite disturbing.
Yeah.
You were not expecting that.
It's spooky.
Yeah. That's the end of his turn. That comes down to the Oathkeeper, I believe. She is going to send influence towards the mage, and he's going to have to respond to that on his turn.
Okay. My turn?
Your turn. Oh, no, it's your turn first.
Okay.
Yeah, it's your turn first, but you know what's going to happen, so.
Yeah. 15 feet. How much do I have left? 20. You said 35
Yep.
total? Okay. This is where...
Climbing speed is half of your speed if you don't have a climbing speed. Or a swimming speed.
And this is where I outsmart the game. I'm so 5-head. I took a feat for this character.
Ah.
Fey touched.
Okay.
I'm going to use the feature that I get with being Fey touched to unlurch the spear from the wall, push myself off, and like in a dive back motion, I'm looking up and I see the disc, and then misty step on top of the disc.
Okay. You are where you need to be. There's a decent divot inside for you to actually stand and stare at this disc.
I look down at Ion. What does she look like right now?
Pissed.
Mhm.
She's pissed.
Yeah.
She's ready to roll, and she's about to essentially attack the purple worm that was crashing into the wall itself.
Is she gonna prove that she's the better long dog?
No, of course. That looks to be the case. Can't believe it.
Holy shit.
I can't believe
Holy
we did it.
shit.
We did it.
Wow. Wrap it up right here.
Isn't that crazy?
I will look over to Ion and I'll say,
I'm going to kill them and kick your ass.
I look down at Ion and I just gesture like this and I say, I'm sorry, Ion. I don't think either of us are the heroes. And I'm going to go back into the disc. I'm going to take a piece of the weave and wrap it around the end of the spear, almost like I'm inking the pen.
Mm-hmm.
And with this fabric of reality wrapped around the tip of the spear, I go to the disc and I write the letters ATUM.
Okay. You write your name. There is one other step to fill the disc with your essence.
Whoa.
Spiritual essence.
Okay.
And it will be done. The next turn is going to be an interesting one. So, it is the archer's turn first. At this point, at this angle, he's going to have a harder time hitting you because you're in the divot a bit. So he's going to...
Restart the campaign.
Fuck. He pulls out a special arrow. His Gale arrow. And he's going to try to push you out of the disc. This has to hit. It's not going to hit. So, the best case scenario is he's going to launch the arrow in there. It's going to attempt to blow at least something out. Give me I'll say a strength saving throw to see if you can withstand and keep the spear in your hand.
What's my DC?
It's going to be 14.
Okay. Saves. Strength saving throw, not incredible, but it's there. An 11.
An 11?
Yep.
I want you to roll me a d12.
The intern has rumbly grumblies.
Actually, you have an idea
A
what your
D12?
inventory looks like.
Yeah.
Roll me an item that gets launched off your person.
Okay. I'll pull up my stuff. Okay, I got a lot of weaponry. I'll drop a weapon of some sort. So I got 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I can't really drop my plate armors because
No, that's not coming off.
that's not coming off. Didn't I give the flame tongue longsword to someone? I don't know why this is still in my inventory.
You might have.
Yeah, so this is just 4. So I have the Singer of the Webweaver, the mace, the shield, and a scimitar. I have some other like little trinkets, but those little trinkets are not being tracked in this equipment section. Yeah. And I should probably include the spear in this group.
Yep, the spear is important.
So the spear will be the last thing. It'll be 5, so I'll roll a d6, and 6s just don't count. 2. So the 2 is I drop the mace from my person.
Okay.
And that'll probably fall in the disc or fall off the ledge of the disc.
It'll fall off the
Okay.
ledge.
Can we roll to see if it bonks the hulking worm?
It's going in the worm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, then it would make it to the Oath Keepers, but we know the Oath Keeper's turn is.
Yeah, she's going to go for this, and now he's got to roll a charisma saving throw to see if he can maintain his essence.
It's not horrible.
It's not enough. So, this individual, being a mage, I'm going to say, is shrunken down, not quite completely squat, but turned into a lesser demon. I don't want to, it's not a quasit. Green in hue. All the gear gets sucked into the frame itself, and it begins to just jut electricity from its hands and just starts shocking the purple worm right in front of it.
Oh, jeez.
Not applying to the turn itself, but that's going to be its total turn altogether. The purple worm is going to be up next. It still understands the mission that it hates you, so it's going to try to leap into the air at you. Prepare yourself. Okay, that's not going to be enough. But,
Shout out Shield.
yeah. Shield of Faith is pretty good. It's pretty good. So, Ion. Ion should have gone first. Ion's gonna beat the shit
Out of someone.
I think the last individual who's... No, this one's immediately endangering you. She's gonna beat the shit out of the purple worm. I need to stop rolling that die.
That dice is cursed.
Yeah, it's
It's pretty, but it's pretty cursed.
It's pretty cursed indeed. So the first hit does not land. That is way worse. Believe it or not, that's a 2.
Oh.
And the third hit is a 3. Okay, so she punches the purple worm. It just like a heavy bag made with water. It jiggles, as you
Oh.
guys said.
Oh. What's happening to this team?
She's unable to. Why? Nothing's going right for her.
Yeah.
You're betraying her. My glory. Your ass is getting kicked. His ass is getting kicked.
No one's safe.
No one's safe anymore. So, that's going to be Ion's turn. That's its turn. It comes down to you.
Is my job on the disc complete, or does it take multiple turns to
You have one last thing you have to do. The essence. And that's it.
This is such a disruptive intern. This is coming up in your review.
And the review is for us? I don't know.
I don't know.
We're both a hiring agency and the individuals who hired you. I don't know why. This is how I write. I write musical notes.
A spiritual essence. What does that look like in terms of like? So I don't just have like a potion of spiritual essence on hand. It's not in a little cup.
Yeah, it's rather vague. I'll leave the interpretation up to you on what you're going to do with this specific thing.
I remember it was either last session or a couple other sessions ago that it might have been last session that I was creating effigies to certain individuals and I was failing. But if it's requiring spiritual essence and I write the name of Adam on the disc, then I would put in one of the, we'll say, the snake, the dead snake that was to be the effigy for Apophis as the spiritual essence, and I will see how the disc reacts.
How do you apply it to the disc? Do you feed the snake into the surface of it?
I would probably, no, because it's not the physical part of it, I would probably hold in the snake, so to speak. I'll start to reach into it, and by that I mean the weave that actually binds the snake together in all of its different forms. It has its current, physical form, but it has its own imprint within the duat and, the other layers amongst the other realms on which it technically exists in some form or another. And so I will pull the actual weave from it, and considering it's an effigy to Apophis, I would imagine that instead of the weave being like a light purple, how it normally is, it would be like a dark black web, almost like it has the symbiote on it. And with this, dark essence, I would then make a gesture around the circumference of the disc, and that's how I would bind it, or attempt to bind it.
All right. You are bestowed with the oath. You form the disc in your image, in your visage, and you see the Oath Keeper down below immediately devoids all influence from her from before.
So the mage is back to normal or no?
Indeed.
Okay.
The purple wormed individual, a larger brute of the sort, goes back to normal. The mage falls back to normal. They fall unconscious, collapsed.
Mm-hmm.
The only one untouched at this point in time is the archer. He looks over at you. The spear in your hand flies from your hand straight through his head.
Oh, jeez.
Pins him to the ground. And then immediately goes back to the Oathkeeper. Former Oathkeeper at this point in time. Untouched by the influence of the Infernals. You feel not that different. You feel a small twinge, an existence that you didn't notice before, and then it's gone.
Does it feel like a ruse? Like the Oathkeeper created the set of circumstances under which I would feel under pressure and obliged to sign the oath to the disc? Because the fact that she only killed one of them and the other people, the purple worm guy and the mage guy, were turned into kind of like low-level fiends. It was like, is this a get-up of sorts?
Roll me an insight check.
I'm rolling an insight check on this. A 28.
You look at the Oathkeeper. You exchange glances between each other.
Mm-hmm.
She looks at you. She smiles. And through that smile, an understanding is shared. There was no sacrifice that you had to make in reality, but you had to be ready to make it. And that's what made you worthy of actually being an Oathkeeper. The damnation is not for anyone besides her. She created this gate as a means to keep them from influencing the world. And her existence at this point in time is in question. And she may never see, at this point in time, the Duat or the afterlife in her own self. Not because she was an Oathkeeper, but because of what it took to create this. These individuals are already dead. All of them.
Oh, they were undead.
And they were shifted and influenced in the most basic means to give you a sense of, like you said, urgency, and to prove to her what you were really going to be about. Idalia suggested Ion be the choice.
Mm-hmm.
And you chose not to allow that to happen. You don't know if Idalia planned for you to take the influence upon yourself or decide that Ion is good enough.
Mm-hmm.
You get the feeling that Ion would probably be fine. She would fully willingly sacrifice herself in the understanding that it wouldn't be for a long time that she would ever die. But, yeah. You have a good feeling that this was a test of metal, and you're the result. Whether you passed or not, that's up to you. The moment you try to bind something else to the disc, still exposed you yourself to it. And given the fact that it was required that you do it voluntarily, basically just ignores anything else that's brought into the influence itself. So, when you're handling radioactive material, you can use tongs, but it's still going to touch you a little bit, and it's going to make some modifications of the sort. Every once in a while when you feed the alligator, you might bite off a little bit too much.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But she's stuck here. She's not going anywhere, this Oathkeeper.
Yeah, the Oathkeeper, she's here.
Does the environment look different?
Yeah. Yeah, the influence has basically subsided. The middle disc itself, the one that's cracked, showing off the gnome and the ostrich, in particular, that one's still damaged at this point in time. And you have the idea that it's not the ostrich that's the one that's lost at this moment in time. And you have a feeling that the gnome himself, he is likely the one who's either dead, dying, or being influenced by something else, subjugated.
Mm-hmm.
His oath is being questioned.
Mm-hmm.
But both sides, yours and Idalia's, in full power.
I will climb down from the disc onto the ground. And I'll look at the Oathkeeper and I'll say, it is done then.
It is done. And I say you did well. You as well, Ion. As Ion is going to find a bigger branch to, yeah.
She finds a tree. Rolls a natural 2.
She walks up to you and pushes you around a little bit.
Yeah. I'll look at her and I'll say, the day is still young. There's still plenty of opportunities for you to show yourself to be the hero that I know that you are.
You better hope they are aplenty. For your sake.
No, I think there's a 1, and that a 1 may rhyme with atrophis. That's a rhyme.
Yeah, you see her counting. What does it mean? How is he so wise?
Isaiah don't speak in tongues to me.
The Oathkeeper looks towards you, settles down. I do not know what will become of me now, but knowing that my final work has saved Jabaxi a little more time and a little more trouble, I feel like I can rest a little easy. And she begins to fade just a tiny bit.
As her form begins to fade, I will briefly clasp, a couple of her fingers on her hand, and I'll say, regardless for the road taken, here's a little something that may help ease the pain. And I'll cast Greater Restoration on her.
She smiles as a gentle wind picks up in the environment around you. The black sands recede and small trees, bushes, and grass begins to grow around. The land stops to look like Jabaxi and looks more like the portrait in which was labeled Nagazi around this area. And she looks around and small spectral tears glimmer in her eyes. And she smiles hopefully, laughing at a joke that her and her friends used to share centuries ago, and fades away, dropping her spear. where she was.
I'll pick up the spear. And in the wind, I'll say, what was her name? Listens to the wind. Yeah, what is its name?
No one knows.
Fuck. That's the intern. I'll say a small prayer for the Oath Keeper, wherever they may be it nowhere. And after I take a couple of words for myself, relatively brief, I'll open my eyes, turn around, look at Ion in the eyes, and say, here's the damn spear since you wanted it so bad.
You don't even know what to do with the spear.
You poke things with it.
Yeah, but it's how you poke. It's how you poke.
Oh yeah? How well did you poke back there with your branch?
She walks behind you real quick.
Trust fall.
Let me show you. Let me show you.
Yeah, trust fall.
I think you dropped something right there. Go pick that up.
Oh. Remember when I said turn into snake form and then you persisted to try to beat the shit out of me?
I can't use a spear in snake form.
You have
She turns into snake form and she's like, look, where's my arms? Where's my arms, Isaiah? I have no hands. Wait. She makes a bunch of hands under snake form.
Oh my gosh, they just poke out of her.
Yeah.
Little tendril. She's like a big centipede now.
Yeah, it's gross.
Ew. Stop.
No one likes that.
Stop. Turn back.
She turns into a dwarf.
Should we go back to Adalia?
I suppose we should. Shouldn't we? Do you know how to get home?
Use the boat?
Oh.
Does,
Okay.
Does the boat sail north?
Can we find the boat? Let's find the boat.
Let's talk to Ramza real quick.
You go to Ramza, and you see a number of the environmental villagers here and there, and they're still afflicted, but you don't feel the influence on them anymore. You feel like they are slowly but surely dissipating the infernal energies amongst themselves.
So the conditions that they have, what is it classified as?
It feels like if you were to be afflicted by essentially a disease, which is something that you are unfamiliar with, especially since you've been a certain level Magi for a while.
Yeah.
But it's a good understanding and explanation for why they would want one around.
How many of them are there?
In total, about 30.
30? Holy shit.
Okay. I will...
Ray, I'm stealing a coat from you.
How dare you?
I know. And I'm taking some of your act. Did you stop the music?
Not in here. No.
I'll use my cleansing touch
Okay.
on 4 of them. I only get 4 charges, but I'll use it on 4 of them, and the rest may resent these 4 because of their gifts. And I could probably... Oh, I can burn some. I can burn some spell slots. If I use remove curse, would I be healing them?
Yeah.
I'll burn my 3 spell slots of remove curse to get an additional 3, which is 7, and then I'll burn all my 4th level spell slots to upcast remove curse and do an additional 3.
I'll say that you're probably going to go for the most afflicted individuals for sure.
Yeah.
Others you can tell are hardly really afflicted by it, so it's probably not a long-standing situation for them.
Yeah, I'll do 10 total, and then for the remainder, all I can really do that's of meaningful is in this place I will cast purify food and drink.
Okay.
So wherever they have their pantry, I'm cleaning that shit out. Hopefully that helps them.
That does help a lot. Ramza is probably like the fourth most afflicted individual you'll find. So he gets cleared up. And yeah, he looks like a guy. Doesn't seem like he's a Medjay anymore. You get that from him at this point in time.
I'll look at him and I'll say, even if you're not a Magi anymore, it doesn't hurt to stay along the path of one, so to speak, and maybe preoccupy yourself with some prayer, maybe to Iset or someone like that, and maybe their blessing will help aid you and the rest of these folks. Better than nothing.
Few hours go by when we are not praying for salvation, especially from that monolith down the way. But it seems like our prayers were answered. And I can't help but think that maybe good tidings are coming. I don't know what's going on in the grand scheme, but I hope... I wish you well on your journeys, unless you wish to stay a few days. Or I guess nights. You know what happened to the sun?
Ramza, it's been a complicated journey. But, yeah, there's been situations been going on, but we're working on it. Unfortunately, I cannot take my stay here. I have to... I'm on a tight timeline, right? And I have a clock.
There's a cusp of war upon you guys.
Yeah, there's something in the air. And I don't think he feels it. I mean, he just was feeling like shit. So maybe
something wicked this way comes.
Yeah. And not the musical. And so I will say I need to get back home. However, I don't know how I really even fully got here. So what's a recommended way out of Nagazi? That's what I would call this place, right? Is that appropriate? Ngazi?
It's like a cusp of Nagazi, the old world that's meeting with the new world through this terrible vent of hell, but, you know. Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's good enough.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah. He looks around and he's like, you know, honestly, no one's ever really left.
Yeah.
Or, you know, it's... Idalia would send other people here who needed a safer place to be, that, you know, individuals, Angel Eyes couldn't find us, they couldn't send agents here, they've tried, turned them away as best we could, and obviously the Jackal himself always sends his agents, and one look at us and then they're terrified and they would leave, usually, but here we are. Suppose other people have not made it all the way, but
yeah, I think I got an idea of how I can get out of here. Thank you, good sir. I must depart. I will walk out the front step of this abode outside the tree.
okay.
With Ion, who is wielding a spear and a branch, potentially dual wielding. In any case. And when I step on the front step, I'm going to use a second level spell slot to find Steed.
Okay.
And it'll be premeditated in the way of like,
I'm going to be looking for a steed akin to Burrow's brother.
Oh,
His name is Barge,
barge.
and he's a river purple worm.
Okay.
And you'll see a giant, big purple worm swimming upstream. And he pokes his head up. And I don't know if he has a Boston accent or a New England accent, which is kind of the same. But I will mount Burrow's twin brother Barge and say, "Take me to Pharaoh's."
This purple worm like looks up from the river. It's just like looks down one side of the river, looks down the other. I got you, boss. Come on in.
Thank you.
Hop on.
Thank you. I'll hop on. How many days travel is it to Pharaoh's?
It felt like 3 days.
Okay. Okay. Then yeah, we'll go and yeah, the rest of the day today I'm just resting, so I won't be really doing anything until tomorrow. So we can begin the journey at the very least.
The purple worm. All right, I want you to roll me, I guess, survival.
I got you. Let's see here, skills.
We'll see how well this journey goes.
Not a great survival roll, but we got the attitude for it. 6.
Okay. I got some sights I want to show you before we go home.
So this is where I grew up. It's just a hole in the ground.
That's the corner store.
It's just a hole.
There's another hole.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the corner store.
Gosh.
My mom used to smoke crack over there.
I got jumped over there.
Yeah, I got stabbed over there. Aren't you not really a purple worm? Shut the fuck up.
You're asking too many questions. You asked me for the ride, right?
You're not a purple worm. What do you know?
What do you know about my culture? Yeah.
The journey. You do get lost quite a bit. You eventually, when you come to a point where you can't navigate the river anymore and you're just going to landlock yourself a bit, things start turning into a little more like desert, less like jungle. You go deeper and deeper. You eventually find a craggy landscape. Quite odd to look at. You see what looks to be a number of mounds all over the place.
No almond joys, though?
No almond joys.
Okay.
Unfortunately, and a moment of caution begins to take hold of you, you realize, after a number of investigations, this is a purple worm nest and nesting site.
Mm-hmm.
And you believe there is no sign of them anywhere. The only thing you have to work on is the light that's given off by the stars. So it is limited in the long range term, but your sight of 8 layers allows you to essentially see as well as you possibly could during the day. You keep looking around. You eventually find what looks to be a number of acid-ridden bodies spewed out all over the place. And you eventually find a couple corpses of gigantic purple worms.
I'll look to Barge and I'll say what happened here.
Oh no, Clarice! Oh God!
Damn it.
She had hatchlings!
She died on the same mound I got shot.
After high school. Purple Worm High
Violet High.
on Jefferson Avenue.
Oh God.
You see what, looks to be a number of, a few purple worms here and there, but a number of humanoid shapes that have been promptly melted pretty horribly. But it looks like a number of the purple worms themselves have been, we'll say, bolted and shackled on the sides of the mouth.
Can I make an investigation check to see how they could have died, get additional detail?
Yeah.
12.
12? It looks like it was a grand force of a number of, we'll say, melee experts coming in, subjugating. Magic didn't seem to be used quite as much, but a few of them were. A few of them were afflicted by magic, not lethally so, but it seems like someone has been doing something to purple worms.
Is it a group of people or?
Massive.
Okay.
Massive group of people. You find footprints,
Okay.
whatever remains of them, all over the place. Some of them have obviously been blown about, but in the non-sandy areas, some rocky plains, and the mounds especially, you find bodies all over the place.
If I were to go to the edge of like the purple worm nesting area, do I get a sense of like the direction of the foot tracks? Like, are they passing through? Was this like an ambush all around? Where do I get any sense of purpose here?
It seems like there must have been a larger group that was passing through, almost like an army, and they branched off in this direction. Seemed like it was on purpose, because they regroup with the army themselves, and a number of the bodies you feel like go underground.
Okay. The army did, or just the purple worms?
Both. Some tracks disappear as well.
Do I see burnt bodies of anyone from the army? It can't have been that one-sided, right?
Yeah, you see plenty of burnt bodies all over.
Do they look like forces of Set or a different faction entirely?
Roll me an investigation check.
18!
18. Yep.
Okay.
The Jackal. A number of them are branded upon the neck. These are seemingly thralls, enslaved warriors to Set.
Okay.
Or disposable fodder, that can be
Yeah.
not accounted for.
I would share this information with Ion and Barge, and we would. There's not much we can do here. It already happened.
Number of carrion birds are feasting on the corpses that are not afflicted with acid, more of the purple worms than anything. Avoiding the acid glands as they can.
I will work with Barry. I'll spend some time. How many purple worms are there that I can see immediately here?
The corpses?
Yeah,
I would say about 6.
6. Then with the 6, I'll take the time, maybe about a half hour or so, and with Barge's help and maybe Ion's help in snake form, I will make a purple pyre.
Okay.
For the 6 worms that died. I'll just let Barge know that even though he's new to the group, so to speak, he is, I still have a deep connection to his kin, especially in the form of Barry, and this should never have happened. His kin deserve better than this, than just be slaughtered. But may they rest in peace, Bernice, Bernard, Bromlin. Beanie. Bunsen. And Blake.
Balake.
Block. The Purple family. Rest in peace to them. Yeah, they deserve better than this. But yeah, I will set the pyre on fire, and yeah, may they rest in peace. And then I will tell the bards that we will have to proceed forward.
You guys mobilize. You riding on top of Barge. Barge riding on top of Ion in snake form.
Double the speed.
And you guys blaze it down the wastes, riding the dunes. And you're overcome with the feeling that this might be the last time you surf the dunes. That event you just saw seemed like wild, subjugating violence that was almost pointless.
Yeah.
And you begin to find traces of bodies, seemingly expired thralls, other warriors of Set, from reasons unknown, just left to the waste. Some you feel with the sight of 8 layers deep underneath the dunes. Some you see just being feasted upon by carrion crows. They are everywhere, in every shapes and sizes. You even find a number of ogres that have just been seemingly deboned. Their skeletons have just outright left their bodies. Sorry, we had some technical difficulties.
Technical
there for
difficulties. Technical difficulties.
For a second.
If I'm feeling like this is close to that, then I want to pull up a spell. No, not that. This. This only works within 1,000 feet. Oh, wait. But it's concentration. Okay.
Sorry,
There's so many technical difficulties.
we're getting correspondence from an unknown source.
Yeah, the producer is, they're chiming in. They're saying something.
I think we have to go back to the Hellgate. The infernal influence is getting out again.
Yeah. Restart that encounter.
Yeah.
Restart that encounter.
Redo. We get one redo every session. Yeah.
We get one redo where we have to restart the session.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, we're back. Little breaksy poo. And while Barge is navigating the River Trebs and leaving the Purple Worm nesting site, I think I'm going to cast Locate Creature as a concentration spell. And we're going to... I'm going to see if I can find Amun.
Okay. You cast your spell, Locate Creature. How far is the range?
1,000 feet, and beyond that, you get a general sense. Within 1,000 feet is exact. Beyond 1,000 feet is general sense, yeah.
This is a very good target for this spell. Navigating the river, Barge finds himself in a cautious form of speechlessness in the middle of describing his childhood that did not exist to you. And suddenly a sense of urgency takes over him as he begins to navigate the river at a much more speediest manner, kind of throwing caution a little bit to the wind.
Oh, to the wind, you say?
He's avidly pushing himself down the river, causing waves to emit from his body, torpedoing down. The river Trebs itself is pretty wide in the landscape, and you get the idea that you're suddenly not navigating the river alone, as you see some shapes underneath the water. Amongst the starlight, you cast this spell. Amun is not within 1,000 feet of you, but you feel yourself going off in the direction that you are going.
Okay.
You suddenly realize in the wide landscape, you are surrounded by formations of individuals. Starlight shining off of their armaments, both armor and weaponry. You see a number of siege towers, sappers, giants, and ogres.
So not fishies in the water.
There is something in the water right now, moving at a speed not quite your level, but close. Underneath, and trying to catch up to you guys. All the factions and formations don't notice you at this point in time, but you see off in the distance a slight dull shine in the air that's not starlight, and it kind of flashes for a minute and dims, and flashes for a minute and dims.
Is it a celestial anglerfish?
You got me.
and the campaign. And the
You got
campaign.
me.
You fucking got
You're
me.
in the jaws. We're all in the jaws.
If that's the case, I think I would I'll use a divine sense charge to get the idea of to get additional information on the individuals around me and see what I'm dealing with here.
You find yourself deep in the ranks. From what you can tell, of a mixed force. You have a good, strong feeling that these are the Jackal's forces. The individuals underneath, you're unsure at this moment in time. They feel odd with your divine sense. They feel more like a certain individual that attacked the Ark in the Duat before, when you once reclaimed the Ark of Ra. That leopard-like being was able to expand its legs and muscles to propel itself hundreds of feet in the air.
Oh yeah, that son of a bitch.
And you feel like the River Trebs is filled with a number of individuals similar to that. And it's kept these individuals, these factions, from navigating the river that you're doing right now.
I don't think I have a spell to deal with this. I think... And you said no one notices me technically except the individuals that are in the water?
Yep, seems like you're unnoticed by the factions, at least, for the time being.
Okay. How big is Barge?
Barge, he's not a full purple worm, but I'd say he's about in full length. I'll give him like 20 feet and about, we'll say, 10 feet in width.
Circumference or diameter, is what it would be. 10 feet tall.
10 feet tall.
Yeah, if he's circular and he's 10 feet wide,
Oh yeah,
that's his diameter.
We're treating him in this situation as a sea vessel
Yeah.
for the sake of this chase that's happening right now.
Okay, then. I have a telepathic connection with him.
You do.
In my mind, I would say, Barge, how long can you hold your breath?
Huh. Forever.
Then I think for the amount of forces that are around us and the individuals chasing us, for discretion purposes, I'm thinking we may have to crawl inside your mouth and you hold your breath for a portion of this journey.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Hold on, take me to dinner.
I don't like it either. I don't like it either.
Dinner. Oh wait, you're the dinner. All right, hop in.
All right. He pokes his head out of the water a little bit, and you just while he's like wagging his tail. And I'm like,
water's getting in. Oh no.
I look at Iron and I'm like, we're gonna have to go in.
I don't want to go in there. I do not wish to go in there.
If you wish to be spotted, then you are perfectly allowed to be out here. But I think we're turning this into a submersible.
Maybe I want them to see me. Maybe I want them to see their death. I am their death coming.
Is she wielding the spear?
She has the spear right now. It's on her back, ready to be used.
I'll put a hand on her shoulder to be like, it's gonna be okay. And then, in a moment before she can even react, I'm gonna take the spear from behind her back and I'm gonna jump into Barge's mouth. And I'll be like, come get the spear! And that goes down as I jump down.
She jumps in. You're both in.
Okay.
In the telepathic link.
Shit! Fuck! We jump inside Barge.
Alright.
And I tell Barge, swim as close to the bottom of the river as possible. Let no fish get in your way.
So this is a weird situation because you can't see shit anymore.
Yeah.
You're inside a barge. Oddly enough, you seem like this is perfectly fine. Like, you can be in here and exist without melting completely. And you find yourself in a situation where you're trusting him. So I'm going to say Barge has... He's going to have...
He's 20 feet long.
20 feet long. I'm thinking about his HP right now. They're eventually going to catch up. You need to make rolls to help Barge outspeed these things. And I'm unsure what these rolls are going to be.
Can I manifest with the weave? Can I create things within the reality that could potentially block them?
I'm going to say, if you give me some spell slots and some arcana checks or just some charisma rolls, we can have you manifest things with the Stinger, the Web Weaver, and maybe this will work out. Maybe you'll die. We'll see.
All right. I'll give I'm gonna pray to one of Neith's grandchildren or great grandchildren, and I'm actually gonna say a prayer of, I haven't spoken to you much. I respect what you do. I revere what you do. You're intimidating as all shit. But right now, I'm gonna need you to clutch the frick up and do a brother a solid. And I'm gonna say a prayer to Sobek.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
And I'm gonna try to, with the weave, create River Nile crocodiles.
Okay.
Into Nile. Sea Nile. Just writing at this point.
Okay.
And have them stop whatever's chasing us. I don't know what number there are of these things creating, but I'll try to create like 2 or 3 river crocodiles behind Barge.
I'm gonna roll a couple of attacks. One's a nat 1.
Oh yeah.
The other one is going to be a 21. And it's going to be piercing in your direction.
Piercing in my direction?
Yeah.
It's not 22, so it doesn't hit.
Okay. So,
Does Barge share my AC?
Barge does not share your AC. This is going to be a means to supplement a defense for him, either by rolling disadvantage or giving him more HP in this situation. There's almost no way for him not to be hit by these things.
Yeah. I'm gonna help him out by casting Shield of Faith on him.
Okay.
And warping the water around him to make like a firm, air bubble. A little firm little air bubble that's hard to penetrate, a little shell.
A very strong fang of some kind pierces right next to your head for a split second, and you see off of the very tip of this large fang was a jet of water that shoots through Barge on the other side.
Oh my gosh.
It hits him for a lot of damage,
It's not the type of hot tub I want to be in.
and then the fang is immediately ejected as you hear a crocodile bite it. Whatever owns this fang. But Barge is bleeding from there, water's jetting in. You put your hand up there, put your hand on the other
I'll
side.
probably do lay on hands for my
Yep.
buddy.
Yeah,
Like 15 HP.
yep. Seals it up real good. You and Ion look at each other, and Ion basically knocks on Barge's mouth. She gets let out, and you know that she's turning into snake form at this point in time. And joining the fray.
Okay. Do I know if I even created the crocodiles?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
You can feel a telepathic link with them as well.
Okay.
Not doing the accents for them.
One of them's named Carrie, and the other one's named Krampus.
Alright, Carrie and Krampus. Interesting. Crossover I didn't expect to see. But here we are.
Fuck.
A Stephen King property.
Don't sue.
An old folklore.
I'll in my telepathic link to Barge, I'll say, is there anything else I can do to help?
I don't know, boss. You're the miracle worker. I just gotta get you there alive.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I'll see if I can manifest the weave to give him like little fins to make him little water hydrodynamic.
You try to give him a motor.
Helps him be a little bit more agile, you know? He can take tighter turns maybe, he's agile.
He's coursing along. I want you to roll 2 d20s for your 2 crocodiles.
Okay. Not great at all.
Right. I rolled a 17 and a 9.
4 and a 6.
Okay. Barge is going to take more damage.
No. No.
That's too bad.
No.
You immediately know that Barge is at half health at this point in time.
Okay. And in that case, I'm dying with the ship, so I'm putting in another. I'll put in 35 HP for him.
35 HP.
Yeah. I'm pumping it.
Gonna roll for Ion attacks. First attack. 6. Not great. Other 2. Fuck, 7 and 6.
We're not doing so hot.
I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark.
Yeah, roll for the Crocs.
A natural 20 and a 13.
Alright. The Croc, you feel its influence. It wraps itself up in this thing. It's very serpentine and possibly connected to one body. Wraps up with one thing, starts death rolling it, taking it out of the race.
Mm-hmm.
The other one was what? 13?
Yeah, 13.
Alright. The other head? 12. So, the Croc delays an attack there. Barge is hanging on. He's pulling forward at this point. We'll consider this one of the successes. I'm going to roll for Ion again.
If it's my one Croc and Ion versus the other one, does my one Croc get advantage? Or would you say he doesn't have flanking?
It's a chase at this point in time, so it's not like we're rolling for killing everything.
Not that great even. 12.
Ion got a 15, so the Croc will get... Or not the Croc, the Serpent gets a 19.
She's nailing.
That's going to be plus a lot more than that. Isaiah,
Don't kill Barge!
you're going to feel some fangs hit you in the back of the neck a little bit. You're only going to take half of this because Barge is supplementing a bit of that damage. All of those are pretty high except for the one. Let me do some quick maths real quick. It's half of 21.
10.
Yeah, we'll go with 10. You take 10 points of piercing damage in the back of your neck. Barge takes a good 21 points. You already put 15 into him.
I did a 15 and a 35. So I'm
And a
giving him
35?
50 HP
Okay.
since he's taking damage.
So he's good for now, at this point in time.
Since we're on like a pseudo initiative,
Could I expend a reaction to see if I can grab and hold the fang?
Do you want to?
I'll try to do that.
Okay,
Give me a
alright.
good pluck.
Go ahead, give me
I want to make an athletics roll to see if I can yoink it out.
make an athletics check, yeah. It's jetting water out of the front of it, at the very tip of it, that's shooting out into the other side, so... Is it a 19?
Plus 9.
Okay. Plus 9, that's pretty good. I got an 18. Okay, yeah. You yank the fang out. Blood and water shoot out, not at a piercing rate, but everywhere. Just everywhere. Fills Barge's, like, mouth and gullet up with blood and water as you hear screaming out from the other side. We'll give it one more go here. Ion's going for a strike. She gets a 13 on the die. Plus 10, 23.
18.
18. And Serpent, 3. Alright. Both Ion and the Croc dismantle this Serpent. Decapitation on the other side. You feel other transgressions around Barge. They're not caught up. And very suddenly, through Barge's gullet, that's slightly opening every once in a while, coming back up for air, you see a shining light, a golden light, the one that's pulsing above Jabaxi. You know That's Amun.
That's my boy, my son.
You're getting close to the fortifications that Pharos has put up in the River Trebs not to allow anyone to navigate. And you guys jump it.
Hell yeah. Barch just leaps. He yeets.
Ion also jumps it.
They're like, what are those two fucking massive long dogs doing?
Yeah. Gigantic long dots.
Is this Dune?
It's an E.T. moment. But it's really long, and it's like, what the fuck?
And it's phallic.
Yeah, it's an Austin Powers skit where they're like, it's someone's... And mid-leap, Ion turns back into a humanoid lizard folk form, like this. And an alarm is raised. A number of you guys are threatened. But you're back in Pharos.
We're back.
And you suddenly realize the army, not that far away.
Yeah.
It's in position.
And we're in Pharos.
That was weird. It's almost like we had a delivery of food or something. We got cut off. I don't know what happened. The signal dropped. Ozai really saw something that looked a lot like an airbender for a minute, and we had to cut.
Yeah, we had to cut.
He said something insensitive.
He said something along the lines of, like, I need to go solo level.
That would be weird.
But in any case, 4 episodes of that later, we're back.
We're back. We're fed. You have just arrived back in Pharos, and the mood is rather
Tense.
tense. It's
Sexual.
rather... Tension is high.
What did you do? I'm talking to the intern off screen. She can't talk, though. They can't talk, sorry. Didn't want to... What are you doing?
If we had an intern, we're not sure.
Hypothetically, as we've been going this whole episode about the intern.
Regardless, if we had one, there'd be 2 and one's a ghost. So,
Named the Deucer.
you are greeted by Abec the Northhawk. At this point, no longer rocking any memorabilia or regalia of Set's factions. He's gone full-blown Pharos, Jubaxi Medjai once again. He greets you, pulls you from the river, looks purely at your purple barge worm, and as barge just kind of slowly drifts off into the water, it says, "Boss, I'm going to go into retirement for a while."
I'll talk to you later, Barge. Say hi to Barry.
Disappears.
Yeah.
Abec informs you on the proceedings that have happened over the past few days. About 2 days ago.
So just to clarify, it's been 6 days since I left Pharos.
Yeah, it's been 6 days. About 2 days ago, first contact was had. Early communications immediately spiraled downwards, and attacks were happening.
Mm-hmm.
Strike forces were sent out under the leadership of both Joy and Malice to set a precedent of what Pharos is capable of on the battlefield. A number of ranks were absolutely decimated by both the Geomancer and the Aeromancer. Many individuals were maimed, destroyed, driven underground in the sands just by 2 different individuals. Both came back unscathed, and Set's forces have declared themselves as the unified army of Hyksos. Hyksos being, at this point in time, the named leader, but following up with a military, we'll say spiritual leader, being that of a character you've known as to be Faithbreaker. Faithbreaker seems to have a number of small Medjai, fallen Medjai, under his command, ironically being Oathbreakers. They sent plague victims first against the walls, many individuals were promptly turned away. Some of them had to be killed. Some of them have infected a couple of the guards on the watch of the walls. So far, no major assaults have happened directly from any type of force. It seems like Set is just taking his time to expend his greater army against your guys' estimated to be about 23,000 large. You have a number of individuals under your, well, I guess, allegiance. Your unified defense of Pharos. You have yourself. You have Adalia. You have Amun. You have the blue-eyed general you know to be Rashad in disguise. You have Joy. You have Malice. You have Abek the Northhawk. You once again have your previous lieutenant.
So, it's Captain Sylvan.
Sylvan.
Yeah.
He is, at this point in time, a private. Demoted, obviously. Starting back in the beginning ranks.
Too long of a vacation.
You have General Mowgli.
God bless him. You hear that?
Ironically, one of the better scouts, Lyman the Bat.
Hell yes.
Giving you full roster.
Whoa.
I won't report the whole thing myself, but
What's Lyman's roster like?
Lyman's got the familiar, formerly known as Twink.
Twink.
Tink.
Oh, that's a roster right there, Lyman. Jeez.
Hey, stop that call. Rima, the Centaur first captain of Chiraku, has made an appearance in the battlefield, siding with Pharos loosely. Al Baroque, the barkeeper from the Squeaky Genie in Chiraku, has made an appearance.
I was actually going to ask about him. I was thinking about him.
His floating inn is above.
Oh my gosh. Rainfire from above. Drops kegs.
Also above, you see the pulsing solar energy of Amun as he's generating what seems to be sunlight from all the temples around that he has visited, slowly gathering up as much divine energy as he can far above the city, acting as a makeshift sun. You have...
I was just feeling sick. And it was the worst day. What was it?
Is that one of the plague victims? They're climbing the walls. Get him!
I don't care if you're sick. Get out of here. You have another avatar of Ra who you had not met, but was responsible for saving a number of you when you were below in the City of the Dead. Alito, the paragon of Ra. She was tied to Chiraku in the Undercity. Her existence was unknown to even Amun himself. And that is why he had been depowered when she was more prominent in an area where she was needed.
So Ra has some side hoes that he likes to pick favorites.
We all do.
Oh, yeah, I mean amen.
Praise be.
Oh, I didn't even...
The formations are being set. Oh god. They're being set up.
What?
It changes everything. The war is beginning to bubble and burgeon into outright conflict
Alt-right?
Alt-right conflict set really has gone far.
Shane Gillis is on the front lines. Fuck.
Now! We're gonna get 'em, boys!
He's got a grilled cheese sandwich ready to
Oh,
go.
no. It is Uncle. Uncle Donnie. I'm not making them at night, Dad. I'm making them at night.
You're a fucking liar.
Here it's always night. I'm always making them. The negotiations for peace talks are failing around twice a day. And you are being summoned not to the front line, but to the middle formation at the cusp of the city's entrance, more or less. It's a new wall system made by Malice. And Malice, when he's not out in the strike force, is almost always making contact with the ground, trying to maintain the rightful defenses that have been placed up. When you see him now, in his full Geomancer form, you see why he's a little more unique than any other mage you've seen. He places his hands on the ground and begins to sprout a number of different animal-like features. He grows feathers. He grows fruit off his body. Bark, skin, turns to rock. A multitude of different forms of nature begins to just emanate from him and change all over the place. Everyone is kind of terrified by that. Mm-hmm. They look at it. They've seen Geomancers before, not like this before. And you've seen in Malice's father, Gravemaker, not the same case. Mm. Idalia has taken up a position towards the middle of the city, near the front of the defenses, and has basically made 2 other decoys dressed exactly the same way as her on either sides of the quadrant, or not quadrants.
Armaments.
We'll say armaments, yeah. But you're being hailed into her presence. An inquiry of what your placement will be.
So I know which one's real.
You're being brought to him.
Alright. I'll approach Adalia and I'll say, the deed is done. The work at the Hellgate is complete. Where's the production? Was that Christmas music?
Quite the production today.
Tight. Schneebird. I go up to Adalia and I say, the work at the Hellgate has been completed.
She takes a long look at you, look at Ion. Then what shall you two become at this point? Will you take a command, or will you give commands?
I need to know where, when did Rashad and... not Rashad. The Blue-Eyed General and, Amun come back? And did they only come back alone?
It's hard to say. Rashad has been here for some time, but Amun tended to come and leave as he saw fit. I would suggest you speak to the general himself to inquire Amun's actions.
Well, if I'm normally a talker, I'm not really the general type, so I have no problem taking orders as needed. However, whoever is to go into battle with me, I will probably try to dictate a level of control over the situations and what happens. And I would look to Ion and I would say, and I would hope they would be listened to.
She looks at you very viciously. She pulls the spear from her back, really considers the point, measures the tip. Okay.
Wow. 3 or 5 inches?
Too much.
Wow.
If you find yourself with free time, which I'm sure you won't, Rashad is off to the left. Oh, the blue-eyed general.
Yeah, well, I don't know who knows and doesn't know, so I just, I'm doing my best around here. But thank you, I appreciate it.
You will see the presence of the Doctor and the Falco. Falco, the masked elf that you had met earlier before. They are also here, still at this point in time, trying to find a course of action to deal with these red vines that have been sprouting from the hag's influence throughout the city. At this point, no longer generating light, but trying to sap the light from above. They both salute you and greet you again as you make your way through the city. You get armed up. You are supplied with anything that you possibly need at this point in time. And you are made very aware, very violently, with a number of strikes of lightning that, off to the right flank of the city's defenses, is Shifo Bayless.
Riding his steed.
You could say that.
Okay.
A number of arcs and a number of what looks to be bolts that connect alongside the ground ravaging lines of defense. Doesn't seem like there's many aerial attacks going on besides his. For now.
Okay. And where's Rashad?
He's on the left side defense. At this point, just stationing himself and waiting.
Okay. I will go and approach him. And I'll say, when did you get back to Pharaoh's?
Looks over at you. Flanked up with Sylvan as well.
Yeah.
Sylvan looks at you, nods, takes a walk, and Rashad removes the faceplate to look at you. Smiles at you. Hard to say. Hard to keep track of the days, but
Yeah.
I made it back not too long ago.
Are you sure? Are you sure you made it back a couple of days ago?
Old age has gotten to me. The duat has taken its toll on my brain.
I
Hard
see
to say.
other voices promoting
Hard to say.
things.
Do you see that menu? I see it.
Do you see that menu?
You see that screen?
What? You got this little gemstone. I'll ask, what has become of the other one?
The other one. I believe Amun has taken him deeper, points off to the Black Pyramid.
Okay. Then in that case, I don't know if I have enough time to even go there.
The army's already here. You must do as you wish. You can't stop them now, but maybe soon.
Yeah. Yeah. What will you be doing out there?
I will wait for an attack, and I will do what I can, striking where they are strongest, so that our weakers, like Sylvan, may have a chance.
Just don't get caught up again.
Please. I survived the last time. Barely.
Yeah, ditto. But, well, if you need help, holler for me. And, let's just take care of each other out there, because, I don't know what's gonna happen. I've never been a part of something like this, so.
He winks at you with the Eye of Horus, and he says, I will call upon you, my son, when I need you most. And I know you will hear me.
I'll give him a little huggy poo. The intern is making incestuous remarks.
And then reacting horrified.
Yeah, innocent. I think Deucer is doing a better job.
Rashad replaces his faceplate. Eagle armor on. Goes back to barking orders as it seems like a formation of giants are beginning to work as makeshift trebuchets to launch large pieces of rubble towards the defenses. And you're left to your own devices.
I go to, I couldn't even see Amun even if I wanted to.
You feel like if you were to probably climb the pyramid, you could probably, get within shouting distance.
Okay. So before I do that, I want to talk to Mowgli.
Okay.
Wherever he is. Wherever he resides.
Front and center. Operating with a whole battalion of smaller bear-like beings.
Oh my gosh. Bear-like?
Bear-like, yes.
They're just,
Some of them might be hairy dwarves.
Yeah. What are those? What race is that?
Urs something.
I can't think of the species, but there's a species that look like tiny bears to me. That, like... Anyways. I say General Mowgli reporting in.
Full turn. Salute.
God bless. How goes it?
He's decked up. He's got brand new stuff going on. He's got the classic gold and blue look.
Yep.
Pharaoh's outfit decked out.
Yep.
A gigantic double Kopesh, one on the bottom, one on top. You've never seen him wield a weapon like that before in your life. You don't know if he can.
He just keeps promoting himself. I'm gonna need this weapon.
Isaiah! I have come into my command with greatness. I have waited for this moment ever since I met Ion.
What?
She stole my glory.
When you met Ion, you were scared. You were not waiting.
I was not scared.
You were not waiting for this moment.
Soldiers, I was not scared.
Get in line. Takes out the double goldfish. Oh man.
I have been promoted beyond him. Don't believe him.
He reports to me now. What do you want me to do, Isaiah?
I'm unsure of his rank. I don't think he's recognized anymore.
Oh man, but when you're out there, are you gonna be out there with me?
I cannot see myself in any other position.
All right. You, me, and Ion, okay? I'm gonna need that fancy little weapon you got there.
What weapon?
Where'd you steal that from?
I found it. I found it in the barracks.
In whose trunk?
The trunk was open, and I couldn't read the name.
If it was Sylvan's, then that's okay with me.
Someone is going to be very angry.
I just see off in the distance someone just pissed off running around the barracks. Where's my...
You do see someone with Mowgli's old mace
This is not mine!
and shield that has been left in place.
Yep. Good, good. Alright.
Well then. I must take care of things I needed to speak to Amun, but once I speak to Amun and I get the final conversations in order, I will meet you out on the battlefield.
I await our reunion.
I give him a little hug, bear hug, some would say.
Soldiers, look away. A bunch of tiny bears look up at you both.
Are these Mowgli's cubs?
It's hard to say.
What is the affiliation?
Really hard to say.
Can't tell if you wrote that in or if you just threw in bear cubs on the spot.
He might have discovered a new power, you know. He might tell you
Is
the
it
truth.
asexual?
He might be asexual. It's hard to tell. He might have gotten himself wet and then just gremlin created a bunch of, creatures.
Beautiful.
Don't feed him after midnight.
Okay. Okay. Keep that in mind.
Yeah.
I will then disembark the ramparts and I will make my approach to the Black Pyramid along the same stretch that I once walked as part of ceremony
Yep.
for originally becoming a Magi. And instead of approaching the altar, I walk past to approach the obsidian pyramid and make my mantle upon it. I'll begin scaling it and try to take the escalators up.
It's funny you say that. As you walk, stairs begin to form for you.
Good, good. I will take these stairs up, and I will escalate this pyramid, taking in the sights of the bright sun above, but the darkness cascaded around, and then the sheaf obelis and the lightning being struck everywhere, and all that type of stuff. The ravages of, we'll say, true war.
You have a full view at this point in time.
Yeah.
And you see every ounce of force that is within the next 30 miles or so with your sight of 8 layers. Distantly, you see a concerning, familiar green glow off towards the center, but you make your way up the pyramid at this point.
I scream up, Amun! Amun! I've come to bargain.
The pyramid, at the highest vantage point, begins to rise as you find yourself within about a 10-foot distance from Amun, meditating in the air, legs crossed, at this point wearing a garb you have not seen before, kind of a long vest that just drapes down past his feet, mostly completely white with a black stripe. And as you get close and you call his name, it shifts and changes in color into being white with a, or black with a white stripe. I can't remember what I said before. Nah, now it's
All
black
white.
with a white stripe.
All white with the black stripe was the first thing.
And a shiny little light in the middle of his forehead. He smiles, doesn't open his eyes, and says, "You're back." This is what he's looking for, Atom. This is Set's goal, right beneath your feet. If he can take this, he takes us all. We will not let him get this far.
No. I came here to have final goodbyes in case things were not to play out so fortunately for us, and to get direction on the other one.
He is subdued for now. I plan to use him for a trap if the worst case scenario happens. He is still very dangerous. He has taken a source of power that I shouldn't have left unguarded.
We take care of a wide range of patient population.
He's in patient care now? That's his new power?
He gouged his own eyes out for some reason. I don't know why. But they regrew.
Oh. Alright, well. I was hoping to potentially get my personage back. If you want to use this body instead. But if that doesn't work, I'm new to this. I'm only here because you allowed it to be such. With the hand.
He opens his eyes, and you don't see the eyes of a man anymore. You see the sun inside. That would come with a risk, my friend. My son, in a way. You would risk that chance again, that he could take you. Amun lowers himself to the pyramid. And he says, "I see." And you guys push open the doors in the temple, in the Black Pyramid. You see a very familiar sight of a man bound, arms behind his back, a number of chains and wrappings attached to the walls all around him, with written scripts pulsing inside of the heart cavity. The great scar that you're very familiar with is the old heart of Jabaxi. And you see purple eyes look at you, and a smile of a serpent.
Hello there, old friend.
Give me what I want. Let's not waste any words.
Unfortunately, you already had what you claimed to have wanted. You just lost it.
Amun, at this point in time, reliving the same situation he did before, is ready.
I'm going to take the web weaver out, and I'm going to use it similarly as a tool, where I'm using the web weaver to draw what will ostensibly be binds. Harold and the Purple Crayon. Thank you. Intern. And I'm gonna make binds to from my hand to Amun. And they're gonna be made out of the weave. And I'm gonna say to Amun, I'm gonna be like, this is not a physical binding, this is a spiritual binding connecting us two. If he tries to take me, bring me back. And these verse changes in this musical piece is interesting.
Very odd.
Very odd. But with that, I will look at him and I'll say, I'm glad you got your eyes back. But it's time to go home, buddy. It's time to go home. I'm gonna step behind him, and I'm going to put my hands on both sides of his head, my head, and with the intensity and focus similar to like the focus that I had to use on those the doll that I found back in the Duat so long ago that took me to that whole other place. I'm gonna clasp both sides of his head. I don't think I have any spells to cast myself to help me with this in any meaningful sense or form. Let me just double check here. Quick. I'm just gonna go for it because I don't think I have anything that really helps with this character. So I'm just gonna go Divine Sense.
Divine Sense.
And I'm going in.
Alright. You feel his torment that he's gone through since he's taken your mortal shell involuntarily and then decided to keep it as long as he could. Not returning to his formal form has been torturous. He is still an inevitable primordial serpent that wants nothing more than to grind you into dust, and his will is that of the ancients. You need to roll me a charisma saving throw.
It's the only thing I'm good at.
As he smashes his essence into you, the same way you and Neith have trained repeatedly over the past fortnight.
Why'd you say that? All I have to do is roll not a nat 1. That's all I don't care if I get a 2. Just not a nat 1. A 26.
26. I rolled a 21. You feel, with all the training you have gained, and with the old heart of Jabaxi deep in his shell at this point in time, you are evenly matched in this moment in time. He has gained in strength, but you've gained in mastery. And that means life or death in this situation right now. And you feel yourself trying to push the essence of this primordial spirit out of your shell. You're one step closer. He's going to push back as hard as he possibly can. So I want you to give me another one.
Am I able to talk to him at this point in time?
You're in full communication. He's at this point in time trying to destroy everything. If he can't have you, he's going to destroy you.
If you got a natural 20, I'm going to beat the dog shit out of you.
I got something.
I'm taking this mic out.
Very peculiar.
All right. Here we go. I know what the modifier is. A natural 2. It's not a 1, though. It's not a 1, though. That is a 16.
I rolled the same roll, so I got a 21.
Oh.
That's why I looked at it. I was like, oh.
Damn.
Apophis, for a split moment in time, he knows he can't stay in this body, so he tries to invade the one that you're currently inhabiting. Trying to find a means to stalemate you, or at the very least, if he has to, he'll escape and try to kill Amun. If he can kill Amun or even injure him, that could potentially give Set an advantage, and if Set has an advantage, that means Idalia won't be able to deal with him. You feel his intentions. He's not going for domination, he's going for chaos. That's what he wants. As hard as he can.
Since I'm in this place of divine sense, as he's forcing chaos, I'm not going to try to control his actions, but I will only be exerting my will such that the only thing that he can only see in the forefront of his mind is Ion. And every single time he tries to destroy a piece of me or tries to get to Amun, he has to see his daughter at the forefront of his mind, within his mind's eye, but constantly out of his reach. And I'm going to roll another charisma saving throw.
Okay.
That's a 27.
Oh my god. A 27?
Mm-hmm.
I got, at disadvantage, a 19 and a 20 on the die. And
It's
it
not
is
enough.
for a 26.
Oh! Goodness. Ray! He's got weighted dice.
Let's check his dice after the session wraps.
Alright.
Let's not do that, other producer.
Deucer. Don't touch the dice.
Deucer. Listen here, Deucer.
I feel like I remember that a couple of sessions in the past where I talked my way into giving you disadvantage and then you still rolled insane.
Yeah, it happens.
That's life.
Stop
Anyways.
You find yourself staring at Amun, and you feel two hands on the side of your head. And at the same time, you see yourself staring at Amun and holding someone
On the head.
on the head. And you look up and you realize everything has changed. You feel a pain and a great power in your chest, and you realize you are both Isaiah and Atom at this point.
Okay. So, with my divine sense, is Apophis out? Or is he elsewhere?
You don't feel anything. You don't feel Apophis anywhere.
I I assume I'll look towards Amun, and I imagine both bodies will say, "Is he gone?"
You do both say, "Is he gone?" The wrappings you gave to Amun in case that anything happened. He's armed with them. His hand seems to be generating some type of magic as he gets a little closer to you to examine. He looks at both of you. And he's sensing no presence of Apophis. Looks around. Sniffs the air. Nothing. He looks down at the web weaver. There's a golden symbol of Apophis etched upon it. He looks at Isaiah within your hands and tells you to take a step back. And he puts a hand on the chest of Isaiah. You did it. Amun is scared. He looks at you, and he's terrified of you. How could you have done such a thing like that? You just expelled probably the most powerful single being in all of Jabaxi back to where it came from.
I just want my body back. But I got a 2-for-1 package deal now, and I don't know what to do with it.
Amun looks at you.
Which one?
He looks at Atom. And he says, "You are the new age of Jabaxi." And there's only one way to keep you safe. And he uses the bandages and the weave that you gave him on you. He entraps you.
Which one?
Both of you.
Oh, wow.
He entraps you. He's already captured.
Yeah, that's true.
Blasts the web weaver out of distance. And he says, "You're the last hope."
Amun, what are you doing?
Waiting.
You can't call me son and then trap me in this place.
You'll get out.
You're a bitch. I didn't say that part. I'm telling Raw. Let me out.
He begins to seal the temple doors. Pushes one door shut.
I rolled the breakout. Is that athletics?
You may roll. Idalia needs to go.
Bro, you were just a... You were a big lamp just 10 minutes ago. What's happening? I got an 18 on my athletics.
18?
Yeah.
One arm is free. You're struggling to get out of the rest. He shuts one door. Idalia is part of an old age, and so am I. Rashad was not enough. You might be. There's a trick to set. You can't kill him. That's what he's known for. So, I can't risk you dying to an arrow on a stupid battlefield. He gets part of the door shut. It's taking its toll on him.
19 on my other athletics.
You break another arm out. At this point in time, Isaiah is generating power from the old heart of Jabaxi into you to try to give you an edge.
I'm rolling to break out of this chair. I'm trying to recreate the Fast 6 moment where The Rock decides that he doesn't need the cast anymore that he was put in.
Yeah.
He just snaps it and just rips it off. I'm trying to just stand up out of the chair.
Roll me one more.
That's a natural 20.
Okay. With the energy that you got from Isaiah, roll with advantage.
14.
14 total?
Yep.
Okay. You break out, freeing Isaiah at the same time, and you both rush the door at an alarming speed right as he's about to shut it, and he just cannot finish the job. You see blinding light shooting through, burning Isaiah just on a line down his body, hitting you on the other side as you're both pushing as hard as you possibly can, cursing in the same exact way, ironically. Calling each other idiots, pushing as hard as you possibly can. And Amun finds himself in a moment where he has to make a decision. I have to leave now and face punishment, or deal with my two entrapped children at this point in time. And you force the door open, and in a flash of light, Amun is gone. You call the web weaver to your hand.
Which hand does it go to? There's 4.
Oh, isn't that interesting? You call it, Isaiah calls it, Atom calls it. You both fight over it.
It just stays in the middle. Can't choose. It's a Stormbreaker moment.
Yep.
Stormbreaker Mjolnir. I can't choose. No, I always loved you. I will, we both rock, paper, scissors on it, and we will call it there.